what you get is respect. You are not necessarily put on a pedestal just because you're older. So if you come from such a society, imagine how difficult it is for them to navigate through this. And again, I know I'm repeating this, but the choice is often between enduring the harsh reality of what happens at their home state, especially this is with specific reference to places like Manipur, versus facing a different kind of trauma when they step out. So it's a choice between the devil and the deep sea. Once they come out, assimilation is tricky. Food is a major concern. First of all, the style of cooking, they just boil everything, and it's a very different style of eating. And protein, meat-based protein is their primary food. They do eat pork, beef, and dog meat. I'll give you one instance. I was once traveling in Mizoram. There was a beautiful bird. And I said, the bird is beautiful. And I had a research scholar who was quite, he was an FDP, so he was quite old. He said, ma'am, you see beauty, I see food. And that struck me very strong, because you can think of beauty only when your stomach is fed. If you have no chance of food, and those animals are your only source of nourishment, you will be thinking about your stomach. And we pass judgmental statements about food, and this hurts to no end. Because even on the rare occasions when they happen to get their food, the kind of comments, I mean, I don't have to explain any of this because we all know what this is. Language is another. I had this problem, see. As a person who grew up in Chennai and whose mother tongue is Telugu, and I learned Hindi and Sanskrit in school, I'm very comfortable anywhere on the mainland. Because I can understand. You speak in Kannada, I can understand. You speak in Malayalam, I can follow it. Like, I may not be able to speak, but I know the broad envelope of what is being said. And I was stuck in Mizoram where I didn't understand a single word. Because that's the Tibeto-Burmese language. It has nothing to do with the Indo-European family of languages. Now imagine the other way around. We all form cliques. You know, you find 4 Telugu people that speak in Telugu, 4 Oriya people that speak in Oriya. What would this lone person from Northeast, who can't even comprehend the sounds that are, right? I'm sure if somebody speaks in Bengali next to me, I'll at least understand broadly what they're talking about, whether it's about movies or about cricket or what. But here is something where the entire sound is different. And the kind of isolation that you would feel if you were to be facing this every time. Of course, racial slurs and jokes are expected to be taken lightly, and the person who shared with us told us that apparently the one statement they get to hear is, oh, but the Sardarjis take everything in the stride. But the days of comfort that the Western India has had in terms of settling down socially is not the same as Northeast. So, I mean, as they say, offense is to a joke is when the person who is targeted takes offense. If I say I don't want to hear fat jokes, you have to stop it. If I'm okay laughing with it, go ahead with it. When they say no, so no has to mean a no. But racial slurs are so common. I mean, I can list a zillion that I have heard, both in the Northeast by people from outside and outside. So this is harsh reality. Students being told in academic spaces that claiming to be a victim and that the mainland as the oppressor is becoming trite and overplayed. Never mind that it's a lived reality for most of them. And this is, again, something that has been shared with much agony by someone. Special concerns of young women who step out for their education, dress. Dressing modestly and speaking in Hindi is not enough because you look different. You're not going to blend anywhere because you look different. And being called Chinese chinky, Chinese mall, are heard so many times. Stereotyping, including assumptions of sexual promiscuity, is very common. Apparently, even the most traditional mainland girls will say, how many boyfriends have you had? It's not even like, do you? It's assumed that you would. And the boys assume that you're available. And I have had a personal experience of a faculty member who just happened to take an alcohol bottle that some of the students Tejas knows what I'm talking. Tejas is my student from CUT and this happened. Some of these guys must have drunk and thrown a bottle somewhere, and this girl from the northeast took the bottle and grew a money plant, and that she drinks and smokes. And no amount of the rest of us convincing the entire system helped. Because no, she's from the northeast. Sad facts, but they happen all the time. And if this is the case, imagine you're a research scholar or in a relationship of power. You're the younger one, and the male there, or whoever is in the power, has all this at the back of the mind. It just blows up, right? You assume that the girl is available, you assume that she's going to drink, you assume, I don't know, I don't even want to imagine what this horror is. One thing that struck me hard, and this is a question I had to ask myself a million times, and possibly this is what actually set me trying to understand the Northeast region, is that they have a deep sense of cooperation and they are non-competitive. Trust is very high. There are multiple of these shops which in Mizo are called the Angailo Door or Not Here shop. There are no shopkeepers. The money box is open, the price tags are there, you put the money, take your things. And nobody takes the money. Nobody takes more than what they pay for. Trust, truthfulness, these are virtues that still exist. Imagine you come from that culture into anywhere here. Right, and there is also this cooperative thing where I had this personal experience where there was a deadline for an assignment. They didn't submit. I threatened them, they didn't submit. I said, I'm cutting your marks, nobody submitted. Then I realized that I have to shift gears. Something was going amiss which I didn't understand. So I took them out to canteen and slowly started asking them, what is happening? They said that one of the students out of a class of 20 had not completed the assignment. So if that one person did not submit, that one person would lose mark. If nobody submits, everybody loses marks. But I said, you're going to lose your career. They said, we don't care. This is Mizo culture.